Have you ever thought about how we acquire the language? We usually take this process for granted and think it's something we just have, but it's more complex than that. My name is Saida Estrada, and together with my partner Michelle Cáceres, we are going to give you an answer to how this process happens. We use language to communicate with others for sure, but there are some more things to know about it. Language is defined as a sign or symbol system to communicate thoughts, intention, and feelings. Language has developed physiological function through evolution. These are compiled in three dimensions. The first one is the historic cultural dimension, which is the synthesis between biology and history. This questions how biological evolution goes through historic cultural development. The second one is the ontogenetic dimension, which is the cross-linking between biological and cultural history. It explains how the physiological functions are constructed and developed. And the last one is the microgenetic dimension. This one question how are these physiological functions operate? And what are the process and mechanics in the use of a function? Since centuries, many has been trying to understand how we learn things. St. Augustine tried to explain it on his own childhood experience, where adults name things and he tried to remember those names. With this, a theory would take dominance until the 20th century, and this empirism. Empirism explains that the origin of linguistic knowledge comes from the external world that we learn through or experience. American conducive that we learn through or experience. American conducive is the reinforcement of learning by imitation with reward and punishment for their performance. So the child will learn the name of something by repetition and memory and get a prize for saying the right name. But this only allows children to learn words. It doesn't take into account grammar rules. So what happens when children go to school and face another context where they need to use a more complex language? Then the conductive doesn't exist. Nochowski made a contribution to the topic explaining that language is an inherited mental code and its acquisition is innate and is only developed through experience. According to Chomsky, the child doesn't learn a language, but instead is already acquired, and he or she only need to choose it. Another person that made a contribution was Jean Piaget, who elaborated a theory explaining cognitive structure and how they develop during life stage. Piaget called this theory phylogenetic theory. Lev Vygotsky also proposed a theory that includes the importance of culture in a child development. Vygotsky mentioned that a child learns through social interact with adults.
And here is where we wonder how important the company of an adult is during a child's development. Investigations show that babies prefer listening to human voices and see a trusted adult face, like their parents, for example. Something that is clear is that babies imitate adults at 6, 7 months, babies start to show anticipation behaviors. They catch intentions from adults and try to express themselves as well. Between 4 and 8 months, they are capable of sharing their interests in objects with others. This is called triangulation. Between 8 and 12 months, the first behaviors of intentional communication appear. At 2 years old, the child uses symbols to represent objects. We can say that language development requires basic formal principles that display linguistic or grammatical competences. But to activate these competences, it is necessary to develop social interactions with adults. Derek Bickerton, psycholinguistic in the University of Hawaii, proposed that language evolved into 2 stages, proto-language and syntax. This is based on the theory that language is a product of natural selection, and the reasons are that language has a design that adjusts to fulfill specific functions. With studies in the brain, scientists could explain that some areas are related to language. These areas are Broca area, related to oral production; angular gyrus, related to orthographic processing; primary motor area, related to the execution of motor commands for speaking production. With the 20th century studies in the brain, more areas were added to the model. These areas are supplementary motor area and subcortical nuclei. According to Jerome Bluner, we are sensitive to interaction with others, and these interactions help the child in the acquisition of language. He introduces a support system for language acquisition, where children develop grammar, semantics, and pragmatic skills. These skills evolve from children's original faculties, such as availability of media, transactionality, and systematicity. In the availability of media, children are active beings that combine means with objectives. Transactionality is the adaptability to social and communicative life. They give answers to human voices and gestures. In systematicity, they repeat for a long time activities like grabbing, hitting, sucking, and more. John Austin, philosopher of language, focuses on the general theory of speech acts in order to explain how the child can understand and can make himself or herself be understood. This theory is based on 3 acts: locutionary act, which is the act of telling; illocutionary act, which is the act of transmitting an intention; and perlocutionary act, like the act of producing an effect in the person that listens. In conclusion, we can say that speaking intention is related to the context. Social interaction is important in the child language development, and this includes the intentionality, which is related to affective aspect, and the need of understanding and being understood. Any genetic disposition requires interaction with the environment, and the first environment in a child's life is the breathing environment. This puts an important role in the parents. Only with these aspects, the child can dominate the communicative and linguistic competences. Finally, we can mention that language is a complex form of communication for human beings that evolved from our needs of understanding and being understood. That includes psychological functions.